Welcome back the rare and valuable coins today. We're diving deep into the world of Washington quarter-dollar coins. But not just any quarters, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction. So let's get started. First up, the Washington quarter dated 1995 with a D mint mark from Denver is a regular circulation coin. But it is important to clarify that it is not silver. By 1995, all quarters struck for everyday use were made of the standard copper-nickel clad composition. Only certain proof or collector coins made in special sets from the U.S. Mint were struck in 90% silver. And those were sold directly to collectors, not released for circulation. If your 1995 D quarter came from regular pocket change or rolls, it will be the clad type, not silver. The obverse of the coin shows George Washington's portrait with the date 1995 beneath it, and the D mint mark on the right side of the bust, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse still carried the long-used heraldic eagle design with spread wings, perched on arrows with olive branches below. This was the last era of the eagle reverse before the introduction of the state. Quarters in 1999. You describe the coin as being in good condition with a reddish shade and some scratches. Good condition means it has heavy wear, with Washington's hair flattened, the eagle on the reverse showing little feather detail and overall softness in the design. The red shade is not part of the metal itself, but usually a result of toning, staining, or environmental exposure that changes the coins. Surface color. Scratches further reduce the eye appeal and collector desirability, especially since this is a very common issue with hundreds of millions minted. In today's market, a circulated 1995 D quarter in good condition with scratches is generally worth face value. 25 cents. Some collectors might pay a very small premium, perhaps up to 50 cents or $1, if they are filling an album and simply need that date and mint mark. Dealers normally only accept them at face value since supply is abundant. Higher grade examples are more desirable, uncirculated 1995 D quarters. With bright luster and no wear can sell for $2 to $10 depending on quality. Certified mint state examples at MS65 and above can reach $20 to $40. And the very highest grades sometimes bring more among advanced collectors. But circulated, scratched coins remain common and low in value. The main exception would be a true mint error. Some 1995 quarters have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, or other minting mistakes. Such errors can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and severity. If you suspect your coin looks unusual beyond normal wear and scratches, weighing it or examining it under magnification could help. A true silver 1995 quarter would weigh 6.25 grams, while the regular clad type weighs 5.67 grams, so a quick weight check on a jeweler's scale can confirm if it is one of the special silver proofs. But unless it came from a mint-proof set, the odds are very high that it is simply the clad version. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1979 without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And it is very important to clarify that this coin is not silver. Many people assume quarters from the 1970s might contain silver, but all regular. Circulation quarters produced from 1965 onward were made from copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core. The only silver Washington quarters after 1964 were special collector-proof issues sold by the Mint in later decades, and those were clearly labeled as silver. If your 1979 quarter came from circulation and has no mint mark, it is the standard clad version. The obverse shows the familiar portrait of George Washington with the word Liberty above. In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1979 beneath the portrait. Because it was struck in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark next to the hair ribbon. The reverse carries the heraldic eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. This was the long-running design used since 1932 and still in place until the state. Quarters program started in 1999. Your coin is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. In coin grading, fine is a circulated grade that indicates moderate wear, but with all major details still visible. On a 1979 quarter in fine condition, Washington's hair will be noticeably worn, but with some separations still visible in the design. And the eagle on the back will show flatness on the wings and body, but remain recognizable. Scratches lower. Eye appeal, especially on modern common coins, since collectors prefer examples without distracting marks. A coin with both wear and scratches is considered an ordinary circulated example rather than a collectible premium piece. In today's market, a 1979 Philadelphia, Washington quarter in fine condition with scratches is typically worth its face value of 25 cents. Because the mintage was so high, dealers and collectors have no shortage of them. If listed individually on an auction site, such a coin might bring up to 50 cents or perhaps $1, but in most cases, buyers only pay face value. Dealers rarely pay more since they already handle them in bulk. Higher grade coins show stronger value. Lightly circulated or about uncirculated examples may sell for $1 or $2. Uncirculated coins in mint state 62-63 often range from $3 to $10, depending on eye appeal. Certified mint state coins in MS65 and above can bring $20 to $40. And superb examples at MS67 may sell for significantly more since relatively few survive in pristine condition. But these higher prices apply only to coins that never circulated. Not too scratched circulated pieces. One special area where a 1979's quarter might carry surprising value is mint errors. Some quarters from the late 1970s have been found with doubled dies, clipped planchettes, or off-center strikes. These errors can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on severity. If you believe your coin has unusual features beyond normal wear and scratches, examining it under magnification or weighing it could help determine if it is special. The standard clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. Any major difference might indicate a wrong planchette error for your coin. However, given that it is in fine condition with scratches and no unusual features mentioned, the realistic auction market value today is about 25 cents to $1. It is not silver, it is not scarce, and its condition limits its desirability to collectors. It remains, however, a piece of U.S. coinage history from the late 1970s. Part of the long-running Washington quarter series that bridged the gap between silver coinage of earlier decades and the modern clad coinage that continues today. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1989 with a P mint mark from Philadelphia is often mistaken for being silver. But it is important to point out that by this time, all circulation strikes were made of copper-nickel clad, not silver. The United States Mint stopped issuing 90% silver quarters for everyday use after 1964, from 1965 through 1998. All regular quarters struck for circulation were the clad type with a pure copper core and copper-nickel outer layers. Only a few special collector issues produced in proof sets were made in silver during the 1980s, and those were not struck with a P mint mark for general circulation. So, if your coin is a 1989 P quarter from Pocket Change or Rolls, it is a clad example and does not contain silver. The obverse design of the 1989 quarter features the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left. The date 1989 at the bottom, and the mint mark P to the right of Washington's hair ribbon. The reverse carries the long-used heraldic eagle with spread wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, surrounded by the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. This design remained in place. until the introduction of the statehood quarters program in 1999. The coin you describe is in dirty, circulated condition with scratches. In the grading scale, this places it in the lower circulated range, somewhere around good to very good condition, or at best, fine. A coin in this state shows significant wear, with flattened details in Washington's hair and on the reverse. The eagle's feathers are smoothed out. Dirt and scratches further reduce collector appeal because they detract from the coin's eye appeal. Collectors of modern clad coins usually seek uncirculated or near-uncirculated examples. So circulated pieces with visible damage rarely bring more than face value. In today's market, 1989p Washington quarter in dirty, circulated condition with scratches is worth its face value of 25 cents. Dealers and collectors generally do not pay a premium for these coins since hundreds of millions were produced. If offered at auction online, one might occasionally bring 50 cents to $1 if a buyer specifically needs the date and mint mark for an album. But in practice, most such coins are only worth face. The situation improves somewhat in higher grades. Uncirculated 1989p quarters can sell for $500 to $1,000, and certified mint state examples in grades MS65 and higher can bring $15 to $30. The best preserved coins at MS67 have sold for over $100 at auction. But those are rare exceptions requiring pristine condition. Proof coins struck in 1989, which were sold directly to collectors, carry their own premium, especially the silver-proof versions from special sets. But those are different from the standard circulation issue with the P-Mint mark. There are also rare air coins from this year that command strong prices. Examples struck off-center on the wrong planchette, or with doubling can sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on the severity of the error. A transitional wrong planchette coin weighing 6.25 grams would indicate a silver planchette was used. But that would be incredibly rare for 1989 and would need professional authentication. The normal clad weight is 5.67 grams, and most examples are standard clad pieces. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1981 with a D-Mint mark from Denver is often mistaken for being silver. But it is important to clarify that by this year, all quarters struck for circulation were made of copper-nickel clad, not silver. The last regular silver quarters were minted in 1964. Starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint changed the composition to a pure copper core sandwiched between copper-nickel layers. And this became the standard through the late 20th century. The only way a 1981 quarter could be silver is if it came from a special collector-only proof set, and those were not struck with a D-Mint mark. So, your 1981 D quarter is the clad type, not silver. On the obverse, the coin shows the classic portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan with Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1981 below. The D-Mint mark is placed to the right of Washington's hair ribbon, signifying the Denver Mint. The reverse continues the long-running eagle design, with the bird perched on a bundle of arrows. Olive branches beneath, and inscriptions, including United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. Your coin is described as having a black color shade, being dirty, and showing scratches. This appearance is usually the result of heavy circulation and environmental exposure. Coins that spend decades in pockets, purses, and cash registers often darken or tone due to contact with moisture, oils, and air pollutants. Collectors generally prefer clean, original-looking coins, so dark coloration combined with scratches lowers the appeal. In terms of grading, a coin in dirty, circulated condition with scratches is typically in the good to very good range, possibly fine if the details remain visible but worn. Washington's hair on such coins will be smooth, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse are flattened in the current coin market. A 1981 quarter in this kind of condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. These coins were minted in the hundreds of millions, so there is no shortage. Dealers and collectors do not pay extra for circulated scratched examples. At most, if offered individually online, such a coin might bring 50 cents to $1 if a buyer specifically wants the date and mint mark for a collection. Value rises only for coins in higher grades. Uncirculated 1981D. Quarters with original luster and no wear can sell for $2 to $5. Certified mint state examples graded MS65 might bring $20 to $30. And the finest known pieces graded MS67 have sold for well over $100 at auction. But these values apply only to coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, not circulated, dirty, or scratched ones. There is also the chance of rare mint errors. Quarters struck off-center, on miscut planchettes, or with doubled dies can carry significant premiums. Some Aero 1981D quarters have sold for tens or even hundreds of dollars. Another rare but fascinating possibility is a wrong planchette strike. For example, if a quarter design was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank. But such errors are extremely scarce and would require professional evaluation. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1996 with a P Mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And it is very important to make clear that this coin is not silver. By 1996, all quarters minted for everyday circulation were made of the copper nickel clad composition, a pure copper core with outer layers of copper nickel alloy. The United States Mint had stopped issuing 90% silver quarters for circulation back in 1964. After that, the only silver Washington quarters produced were special collector pieces, such as proofs and silver sets sold directly to collectors. It's not the ones with a P Mint mark intended for circulation. If your 1996 quarter has the P Mint mark and came from change or rolls, it is definitely the clad version, not silver. The design is the familiar one that had been used since 1932. The obverse features John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington, with Liberty above, In God We Trust to the left, the date 1996 at the bottom, and the mint mark P placed to the right of Washington's ponytail ribbon. The reverse still carries the heraldic eagle with wings spread, standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. This was actually one of the last years this eagle reverse appeared on quarters before the state quarters program began. In 1999, which makes it a little more nostalgic for collectors, even if it is not especially rare, your coin is described as being in bad condition, with a black color shade, scratches, and heavy wear. The black shade typically comes from environmental exposure coins stored in damp areas. Buried in the ground or exposed to chemicals or fire, can darken or tone dramatically. Collectors usually avoid such coins unless they are rare, which the 1996P is not. In terms of grading, a coin in bad condition falls into the lower circulated categories, such as about good, good, or possibly very good if the major details remain visible. The portrait of Washington would be very flat, the lettering dull, and the eagle on the reverse lacking most of its feather detail. Scratches reduce the eye appeal further, which is important because collectors of modern coins usually look for attractive, problem-free examples. In today's market, a 1996P quarter in this state is worth its face value of 25 cents. These coins were struck in the hundreds of millions, and even in circulated condition, they remain extremely common. Dealers generally will not pay more than face value for them, since they have boxes and bags full of similar pieces. If listed at an auction or online sale, such a coin might bring 50 cents to $1 if someone wants to fill an album slot and doesn't mind the condition. But realistically, it trades at face value. The situation changes only for higher grade examples. An uncirculated 1996P Quarter with full luster and nowhere can sell for $2 to $5. Certified mint state coins graded. MS65 or better can reach $15 to $25. And the highest-end survivors at MS67 have been known to sell for over $100 in major auctions. Since finding a flawless coin from this mintage is difficult. Proof versions of 1996 quarters struck in San Francisco, including 90% silver proofs, are worth more as collector items, but those coins are clearly different from your circulated Philadelphia mint piece. There is always the chance of an error coin, which can dramatically raise value. A 1996 quarter struck off-center on the wrong planchette, or with doubling in the design, could bring tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on rarity. A genuine transitional or wrong metal error would be worth even more. To check, you could weigh the coin. The clad version weighs 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. If your coin is closer to the heavier weight, it might be an unusual silver planchette error, and such errors are extremely rare. And most 1996 P quarters are normal clad strikes. For your specific coin, 1996 P, Washington quarter. Black shade, bad condition, scratched. And circulated, the realistic value in today's market is about 25 cents to $1. It is a common, modern coin that does not carry a silver premium, and the condition prevents it from having much collector interest. Still, it holds interest as one of the final Eagle reverse quarters before the state quarters transformed U.S. coinage just a few years later.